rolling.
We're here.
Wit.
Bird.
Do you want to tell the world a little bit about what you do, who you are?
Sure. I'm Wit. I use they, them pronouns. I am an astrologer by trade. I call it intuitive consulting.
Yeah.
Because I have a background in counseling, psychology. My master's is in drama therapy.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm kind of bringing my counseling in with, like, my work in astrology and tarot.
Yeah.
And kind of, like, synthesize that
Yes.
when I do a reading.
Yes. You know more about tarot and astrology than, like, anyone I know.
Thank you.
So, today, or, well, I guess it was yesterday, technically, full moon in Sagittarius. And, yeah, I thought it would just be, like, what's going on right now in the sky?
In the sky, yeah. Well, we're definitely still, like, permeating in the full moon, like, vibe
Bath.
of it all.
Yeah.
We've kind of, like, passed that point of, like, intensity.
Yeah.
The, like, building.
Yeah.
Intense.
Yeah.
Exact.
Yes.
Full moon.
Right.
And now we're on the down slope. The moon is, like, moving away from that connection with the sun. But we're still going to be feeling it while the moon is still in Sagittarius.
Yes.
And it will be in Sagittarius for, like, the next day.
Okay.
So we're still going to be, like, kind of permeating in that, like, Sagittarius moon, like, Gemini sun, like, I don't know. I feel like maybe some folks last night might have been, like, really out and, like, really, like, going hard and, like, being really social and, like, making new connections and, like, having conversations and having,
I was.
Like, feelings.
This sounds like my night last night.
Yeah. As well as, like, yesterday or the day before, there's this, like, beautiful, like, connection between Venus and Neptune and the moon. What we call a grand trine.
A grand trine.
A grand trine.
Wow.
Because the moon was in Scorpio, Venus was in Cancer, and Neptune is in Pisces. So there's 3 planets that are in all 3 water signs.
Whoa.
And they're, like, lined up exactly.
Yes.
All at 27 degrees. And so there's just this, like, zoom, 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 like this rush of, like,
water.
Rush of water.
Right.
That's, like, relational and, like, warm and, like, flirty and beautiful and, like, deeply feeling.
Yeah.
And also, like, highly spiritual, like, highly, like, transcendent.
Yeah.
Like, almost, like, psychical.
Yes. Psychical.
Psychical.
Very that. This, again, I just
right.
feel, no, I think it's, we're going to make it a real word. It just feels like it's describing a lot of the energy of my weekend. Like, honestly.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, now what?
Now, we're kind of coming down.
Yeah, that's hard.
From
To
that,
come down is hard.
from that pickup, from that, like, really, like, like if you were, like, engaging with the energy of that moment, like, it was like,
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
this beautiful,
Yes.
like, bright, like,
Yes.
whoa,
Yes.
like,
yes.
it was gorgeous.
Yeah, and then it's over.
And then it's over. So there's always
I
some
don't,
kind of,
like,
you know.
Yeah, come downs.
And, like, this week, today, and, like, tomorrow, we have some other stuff that's happening that's kind of going to be, like, putting a wrench into things. Namely, like, Venus opposing Pluto.
Right.
That's, like, a big, like, chill harsher. Like, that really harshes the vibe. Like, it's intense. It's kind of, like, it's sort of gross feeling.
Yeah.
It's like, because Venus is that like relationship oriented, that like connection seeking, that loving, comforting like energy, while Pluto is like the underworld, the deep intensity of death, transformative death. And what does that look like? For some folks, it can look like really like intense, like bouts of jealousy or insecurity. Like depending on where it hits in your chart, like that could be between you and another person. That could be like between you and yourself. You know, between you and the world. Like it's it's not great. It's temporary. It's not not like super long, but that's like happening tomorrow. And everything's just kind of getting shaken up because Mercury and Uranus are like coming together in Taurus right now.
Okay.
And so it's like,
so
like,
I mean, who, as far as for people who don't know like shit about astrology, like what does Mercury bring when it's coming together that makes it like that when this is happening with Uranus? Like why are those
why is that happening? So when I am talking about the planets, I'm kind of talking about like these archetypes.
Yes.
And their archetypal representation.
Yes.
Their temperament, or like their kind of like personality, is shown by the sign that they're in. Right.
Yeah.
So like, let's say like me in my chart, I have Venus in Cancer. So like the Venus energy, which is like, you know, Venus is all about like love and diplomacy and relationships, art, beauty, music. It's
pleasure.
It's pleasure. It's also your values and your resources. And like the things that you like to take from a wedding, like wedding vows. It's like the things that you have and hold. Yes. You know. Right? And so Venus in the sign of Cancer, like has the temperament of Cancer. Like Venus, those characteristics. Through Cancer are like really soft. Really kind of tendy. Like Cancer Venuses are kind of tendy. We're pretty tendy.
Very, yes.
Really
like,
tendy.
So tender.
You know.
So tender.
Like also just deeply emotional. Deeply caring. Deeply like family focused. And I don't necessarily mean like family of origin. I mean like chosen family. Right. Because Cancer chooses family. Right. In that way. Like Venus is very comfortable in Cancer. Yes. That makes sense. For those reasons. Yeah.
So understanding all of this is kind of like another way to see like the mythology of how you can make meaning in your own life too. Yeah. So when did astrology start sort of informing the way that you actually live your life?
I was working at a metaphysical supply shop, like a gem and crystal shop in San Francisco.
In San Francisco, Okay.
And my boss, who hired me, was an astrologer, and like practiced like at the shop. They had like office space where like different practitioners, tarot, yoga, body work, like energy work, whatever, like different practitioners could do that. I found that job incidentally because I like booked a reading with her. And was like, hey, are y'all like hiring? And they're like, yes, weekends only. And I was like, that's what I want. So it was very like kismet, like kind of just everything just aligned perfectly at once. So I was just around astrology because we were always talking about it. Linda was always talking about like, oh, well, you know, Moon's in Gemini, so I'm gonna be having a shitty day.
Yeah.
Or like whatever. Like
but it
was just
informed,
Yeah.
or like, this is going on right now, so I'm not going to make this decision yet. Or I know that, like,
exactly
really ingrained in how people are living.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so, like, I started dedicating, like, time to studying astrology probably in, like 2017, 2018, something like that. So I've been learning and practicing for 6 years. And also, like, I was in graduate school at the time, like, doing therapy, like, learning drama therapy. So, like, I was actually able to take a class on, like, Jungian dialoguing, which is like a system of like journaling and like creative meditative visualizations that was like, I don't know, we read this book and we like did these practices in order to like facilitate ancestral healing.
Yes.
Through our lineage.
Right.
And I developed I developed a couple of practices that I still use with both tarot and astrology. I wrote a paper about like looking at my great grandmother's chart, my great grandmother's chart.
Wow.
And
that's fascinating.
Putting her chart next to mine.
Yes. And you guys look alike too,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So these kinds of resonances, it's like names, like features, and then also charts.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because I kind of think of it like it's, you know, our chart denotes like our personality, right? That it's like that which our soul chose, kind of. And it's just like, or if you want to think of it that way or not, but it's like, these are sort of the things that you're here to work through, or like your strengths, and just like things that if you know about can make sense. Like, did your great grandmother know about her chart, do you think?
Definitely not.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, I can't speak to that.
Yeah, I don't. I mean,
not sure.
When did that get lost?
Right.
You know?
Right. You know, like, that's an interesting question. I say no because I know that my great grandmother, like, lived a very, like, simple, like, you know, her family was pretty poor. She was, like, a farmer's child, and then she married a farmer, and, like, that was what she did with her whole life. And she, like, you know, she made a home, and she, like, made a family. Like, and I think that I don't know that her, like, the demands of her life, like, gave her time for spiritual exploration in that way. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I can't be sure.
What did you ascertain, or what struck you when you looked at her chart next to yours?
It was pretty wild. We were born about 85 years apart, and I realized that 85 years is half of Neptune's cycle, half of Neptune's orbit around the sun.
Wow.
So my Neptune placement is in Capricorn. Her Neptune placement is in Cancer, which, for those of y'all who don't know, Cancer is right across the wheel from Capricorn. They're just like looking at each other.
Like
they
12
have,
and 6.
Right. They have polarity. Right, exactly. Like
if
like
it's
12
a clock,
and 6 on a clock.
Capricorn is at 12 and Cancer's at 6.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. That's a
Okay.
really great actual like way of describing
That's
that.
what I'm here for. There's a clock right there, so I
love it. I love it. So I ascertained like that we had these really striking similarities, because like I didn't know her when she was alive. I was born like 7 years after she died.
Whoa, and you
So
have such a relationship with
knew
her.
Yeah.
I mean, I like feel like I know her from stories that you've told. That's really that in and of itself is pretty fascinating.
You know, just sort of finding like these places where, I mean, because like in my work as a therapist, like, you know, such a huge part of like what makes a person is their family origin story, you know, and how they were impacted by their primary caregivers.
Yes.
Right. And also that like trauma and resilience, among other things, are passed down from generation to generation.
Yeah.
So intergenerational impact is not just like a possible, it's inevitable.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. Yes. On every level. I mean, the stories, the biology, the traits, like it's, you know, we are the final product of all those things that have made us. Like they're all there.
Yeah. Yeah. They're all there, and also they're all us.
Yeah.
Like
That's kind of scary.
Yeah. That the experience of like doing this chart work, I mean, I was like, you know, we had flipped Neptunes, we had flipped North nodes, we had Neptune opposite Neptune. We had some like very angular relationships like between our, like it was almost as if like her chart looked like mine but flipped.
Yeah.
Right? So it was just like it was really striking to me in the graphic form.
Yeah.
You know, them just being side by side.
Yeah.
You know, there were lots of like oppositions.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
Like very clean lines and angles. And at that time I was like doing some really interesting like psychic work, like energetic work.
Yeah.
And like journeying.
Yeah.
And in some of my journeying, it was as if like knowing her chart and the intersections that it had with mine facilitated this experience of like seeing her life, her imprint, her experience as like a point in space, like along this like spiraling continuum.
Yes.
That like like was connected to me and then collapsed into me.
Yeah.
You know, like a spiral in 2 dimensions turned a certain way looks like a circle.
Yes.
You know, just...
Whoa. That's an intense insight.
Yeah, it was.
And also sounds like something that might be like true at some level. It's like write that down. Like maybe physics can't describe that yet, but it's like that's the vision version of like what's quantumly happening.
Right.
You
It's
know?
so basically it's like the movie Interstellar.
Yeah.
No.
Have you seen or what's the one that Leonardo DiCaprio? Inception. Yeah. But no, Interstellar.
I feel like I've wandered off.
No, I think it's so I don't think so though, because this is just like, for me, astrology has become something that as I understand more, like I really find to be a useful framework for like meaning making and honestly like validation in my life. And I love seeing those resonances of like, all right, I'm going to note what's astrologically going on while I'm documenting the things that are happening in my life and then comparing those, like the macrocosm and the microcosm kind of thing. And I think what's cool about what you do, like, is see how all of those things are integrated, like the generational trauma and even like the acting out of like these characteristics, like with your drama therapy, and like marrying that with astrology and with tarot. It's a really rich way to like kind of be able to see this, like the players and the stage. You know?
Very that. And the work that I do, you know, kind of spans from this place of like, you know, I want to learn more about my chart because I want to learn more about myself.
Yeah.
Yes. And I want to learn more about the energies that just sort of like permeate my experience.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not here to like generalize a person and say like, oh, so you have Sun in Gemini, oh my God, you must be so two-faced. Like, don't do that. Please don't do that. It's not about that.
Yeah.
Because every person is unique in their experience.
Right.
Like we know this.
Right.
Nature and nurture.
Yeah.
Like I could never presume, like that would be so arrogant, like for me to like look at a chart and say like, okay, you are this, you are this, you
Right.
are this.
Right.
It's like, this is with you.
This is with you.
This is with you.
This is with you.
This is the energy that you are with.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, you know, and I feel like a lot of folks, especially like, you know, what we know about like pop astrology is all like very like, okay, so you were born in June, so you're like a Gemini or a Cancer, and that means that you are this. Well, that indicates a certain part of your experience,
right,
but not the whole picture, not the whole.
And it's so complex. I mean, there's so many layers to it, and like the average person may not want to understand those things. It's just that, like, it's kind of like we were talking about. It's a whole nother language.
Yeah, it is.
Really,
it is. It's like really math heavy.
Yeah.
Like I'm at least like the way that I study is very math heavy, and I love that.
Yeah.
Like I like nerd. I nerd.
Yeah.
I nerd.
I instantly don't like that.
And it's really fun for me, actually.
Yeah. And so just being able to translate that to other people, because most people would never, you know, I mean, obviously this is your gift, this is who you are, this is what you do. Also, like, yeah, the amount that you know is just like, okay, just tell me what that means.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
You know? But I think the acting out piece, I just think it's really, I love it because all of these things do reflect each other. And like, I think that being able to understand, again, like this understanding of these sort of forces that are at play being like characters and characters that exist in these potentials inside ourselves too, you know? So I really like it when you impersonate
the planets.
The planets.
That's really fun.
Yeah.
That's really fun. Yeah, you want to do one right now?
Yeah.
Let's both do one.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Like, I'll do one and you do one.
And then we're going to interact with each other as them?
You know, maybe we'll just
start. Okay.
We'll just do like a sound, a gesture, and a phrase.
Okay.
Like,
okay.
So how about this? How about you choose a planet and I'll like demonstrate, and then you can follow my lead.
Okay. I already chose mine. Did you choose yours?
Yeah. I didn't ask. I was like, I thought that you were choosing for me.
Okay.
That's okay, I'll choose for myself.
Okay. Oh, yeah, you choose for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Alright, I'll go first. So, my planet is Mars.
Okay.
Sound and gesture. And then the phrase is just like, oh yeah, baby. It's like that. Okay, see, that's a fun like workshop thing. Okay.
Yeah.
What's
Okay.
yours?
No, that was really good. Yeah. It's okay that I have to follow that. Mine is gonna be Venus. So this is Venus and
Venus and Mars.
Yeah. So I'll just be the exact sort of like counterpart to the energy that you, which is a very like receiving.
Oh, I'm gonna mirror that. I'm gonna mirror you.
Yeah, like come to me is kind of this. Is
Like,
the phrase.
Let me do my hair.
Let me just be all
just be
about the
beautiful.
sensation and the pleasure and the romance and
And it's like I reach off screen and then I have like a bunch of grapes.
Yes, exactly. And someone's like bathing me in
like
wine.
feeding me grapes. It's great.
Yes.
It's great.
So these are like, so there's Venus and there's Mars, and then it's like if your Mars, for instance, is in Sagittarius, like I think is true in my chart. So that means that where that like go get it energy is gonna be is like taking form. For instance, like someone was saying that they were, was it, I don't remember who it was, but surprised that I traveled so much, like based on something about my chart. But I was like, well, my Mars is in Sagittarius. I mean, wouldn't that be of like that action being in like travel? Is this?
Yeah, exactly. Like Sagittarius is a fire sign.
Yeah.
And Mars is at home in fire.
Yeah.
You know, because Mars rules Aries, another fire sign.
Yeah.
So like, you know, yeah, I would see someone like Mars and Sagittarius being like, you know, into travel, also just very quick to do.
Yeah.
Like, quick to do. Like Sagittarius, it's like a oh, it's that arrow that's like just soaring.
Yeah.
So like quick to action.
Yeah.
Quick, perhaps to temper sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that very like, but also there is a point. Like it's not just like, you know, this kind of aimless, you know, movement. It's like Sagittarius is known for its like
precision
and like higher like seeking of higher learning, higher wisdom, philosophy.
Yeah.
You know,
True.
like that journeying.
Yeah.
For Sagittarius can be like of like the physical body, which like Mars, like among other things, represents the physical body, or at least like the things that you do.
Yeah.
Right. It's like doing that in a Sagittarian way with your body is a little different than say doing it with your mind, with your cognitive capacities, right? Like someone who has Mercury in Sagittarius.
Right.
You see. Your Mercury is in Capricorn, so that's a different vibe.
That's a different thing. So, and we'll wrap this up.
Let's wrap.
But first, I feel like I wanted to ask this question. Like, where is your Mars? Like, to compare the two? Because
my Mars is in Leo.
Okay, so what does Mars in Leo look like?
Mars in Leo, again, another fire sign.
It's like fire on fire. Oh, yeah, that's interesting.
So we have some compatibility there. Yeah. And, like, Mars is... in Leo, like I'm a performer, and
obvious.
Like Mars in Leo is like a very performer's energy. Like Leo is
center stage.
Leo, the lion, the majestical.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
Right. The flippy flowy hair. This is the
the flippy flow.
It
looks like a fucking mane. It looks like a mane. It looks good. Yeah.
So like again, a deeper conversation, but like where my Mars is in my chart, it's like at home there, but it's also like influenced by all the other placements that I have too.
Right.
Yeah. Right. So you know, I'm a performer, but I can also be like really really too self-aware sometimes. Self-conscious. Yeah, exactly.
We call that.
Like when I was like, oh, I'm really weird about doing this video.
Yeah.
You know.
And then made to perform. I mean, because you're just such a natural performer. That's a perfect example, because it's like, I mean, you are a performer. The shit, you make me laugh so much. And then it's like, okay, let's record this. And there's this like it's
what?
like, wait, what? Like, you're made for this. Ooh, just oil up those tin limbs is what that may be. So yeah, so I'm gonna link to a way to contact you.
Yes. Yes.
If people are interested in having, I mean, I don't know what do you call your sessions? Because you're integrating a lot of stuff.
I am integrating
What are
a lot
your
of stuff.
yeah?
I do hour-long sessions. I've kind of find that like simplifying it, just having like that one time structure is just good, because like half an hour seems like just not enough time.
Yeah.
To like really like dive in.
Yeah.
So I do hour sessions. Talk to me about rates.
Yeah.
My like regular hourly rate is $90. However, I like, for folks who are from marginalized communities, for folks who are LGBTQIA+,
Yes.
like for my folks who are in like the service industry,
Yeah.
like,
yeah.
let's talk.
Yeah.
Let's talk.
It's contextual.
Because I also do like trade and barter as well.
Yeah.
So that's a
thing. That's a thing. Yeah, I mean, you can just like hold all kinds of space for people and like just intuitive. I feel like whenever we get together, it's like these amazing sessions of like, okay, here's how the tarot ties into the dreams I've been having, ties into, this like embodiment technique, ties into the astrology of the moment.
Yeah, it's great.
And it's great. It's all my favorite things wrapped into meaning making. So
mine too.
Just glad that I'm glad that we did this video. Hope the sound was okay. We're gonna work on that. And
I should mention my Instagram.
Oh yeah.
So find me on Instagram.
Fine.
Upside Down Astro. Upside Down Astro.
Upside Down Astro. Yeah, there's about to be a bunch of posts there too.
Yeah, there's about to be, there's like no post. There's like no post.
You'll go there and not be sure that it's real, but it is.
It's real. It's growing. And
it's just enigmatic right now.
It's enigmatic.
It makes you wonder.
Enigmatic.
You'll wonder, but
But DM me there. Find me there. I do virtual. I do in person in the Chattanooga area.
Yeah.
For those of y'all who are in the East Tennessee region. North Georgia.
Yeah. And beyond that.
And beyond.
On virtual and online. Well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to be in your house filming this. Thanks for having me. Hey, I want to try and get like a little altar views.